Welcome back, learners. As you know that in the previous lecture, so we were discussing about obtaining the moments of the beams, right? So in the previous session, we have got this beam forces, that is the moments and the shear forces. So in that we started with the story 2, that is the top story, and we clearly made as a separate folder that V2 represents the maximum shear that you can have in the beam, and M3 represents the maximum negative moment also, as well as the maximum positive moment also. Usually the maximum negative moment will be observed at the supports, whereas the positive moment will be observed at the mid span of the beams. So in the same manner, so let us go to so let us go to the view option, and now from story 2 we will go to the story 1. Okay, we will go to the story 1. So when I go to the story 1, you can see now that this beam will be applied. Okay, so now from top floor we have come to this one. Okay, similarly here also what I will do is I will go to the view. Okay, after going to the view, so I will change from story 2 to story 1. Okay, yes, so this is the first floor beam, right? So now in that, if you want to have the forces and moments, you know, we are going for the dead load combinations. Okay, so if I apply it, you can see that the moments of the second force can be seen. Okay, now in the same manner, let us start finding out the moments of the each member of the corresponding, that is the story 2 we have chosen. Okay, yeah, we have chosen story 1. Okay, so now here also let us go to, so let us give name as story 1, story 1. Okay, and in the same manner let us give these names to this here: beam number, shear, negative moment, positive moment. Okay, yeah, so now from the filter, from the story 2 we will select the story 1 now. Okay, yes, so now let us start doing it. Okay, so now when you take this, the first beam here is beam 4, here also it is beam 4, so these many values are there. Okay, so these many values are there. You can see here that for the beam 4, okay, so for the beam 4 you can see out of these many values, the highest value will be this one, minus 91 and 117. So therefore I can copy here, and the highest positive value will be 122. Okay, so this is highest positive value. So this is all about the beam 4. Okay, so then here also one more beam is there here. So the next you have is beam 5. Okay, so next you have is beam 5. Okay, yeah, so out of the beam 5, so that means from here to here, you can see that the highest V2 and M3 can be seen here. Highest V2 and M3 can be seen, and the maximum positive moment is 16. Okay, maximum positive moment is 16, right? Okay, so that is all about B5. So when I go to beam 6, okay, when I go to beam 6, you can see this many values are there. Out of that, the highest one is this one. Okay, so therefore I can give it as beam 6 here. Okay, I can give it as beam 6, right? I can give it as the beam 6, and in the beam 6 now the highest positive value, okay, the highest positive value is 228. So therefore I can choose 228, that is the highest positive value. So that is all about beam 6 till here to here. So the next you have is the beam 7. So from here to here is the beam 7. So in that the highest value is this one. Okay, the highest value is this one. So therefore this is beam 7. And what about the positive one? So out of this beam 7, the positive one will be 58, right? The positive will be 58. So that is about the beam 7. Okay, yeah, so beam 7. So the next one that you can have after beam 7, So yeah, so this one. Next we have is beam 8. Okay, so beam 8. So these are the values from here to here. Beam 8, you can see the highest can be seen top here 332, so that is beam 8. And what is the maximum value that you can have is 310, so that is the maximum positive moment, so that is beam 8. Okay, yes, so beam 8. So that is all about that you can have in beam 8 from here to here. So the next that you can have is beam 9. So these values, out of this the highest is this one, so therefore I will go to beam 9. Okay, yeah, so beam 9, beam number 9. And what about the positive one? You can see the highest positive one is 105. Okay, 105. So that is about the beam 9 from here to here. So the next that you can have is beam 10. So in the beam 10, the highest is this one. Okay, the highest is this one. So beam 10. Okay, yes. So and out of that, the maximum positive value that you can see here in the beam 10 is 80. Okay, so it is 80, right? Yes. So what I will do is I'll just cut it here. Yeah, so let me put somewhere here. Okay, okay, so that is beam yes, 80. So that is all about of the beam 10. Okay, yes, the next that you can have is beam 11. Okay, so from here to here you have beam 11. So from where to where you can have the beam 11? Okay, so from where to where you can have beam 11 is the highest value is this one, you can see 117. Okay, the highest value is 117, so beam 11. Okay, and what about the maximum positive value? The maximum positive value that you can have is from out of this it is 93. Okay, so the maximum positive value is 93, that is beam 11. Okay, yes, so beam 11. Yes, so the next that you can have is beam 14. Okay, so beam 14, you can see the highest is these two value. Okay, the highest is these two value. So beam 14. Okay, so beam 14, the highest is these two value. And what about the positive one? Positive one will be 52. Okay, the positive one will be 52, right? So that will be the positive one will be 52, that will be equal to this 52 positive. So like that when you go to beam 15. Okay, so like that when you go to the beam 15, you can see that out of this the highest is these two. Okay, so beam 15, so 15, beam 15, then the highest positive is 51. Okay, this positive is beam 51 and it is beam 15. Next you have is beam 16 from here to here. Again the highest is this one and the positive value is 105.22. Okay, the positive value, okay, the positive value is 105.2, right? So that is beam 16, correct? Okay, so next you have beam 17. It is from here to here. You can see the highest value is this one and the highest positive value that you can have is 268.55. okay, so 268.55 and it is beam 17. Okay, beam 17. So from here to here. So the next that you can have is beam 19. In that the highest positive negative value of moment and shear is this one. okay, whereas the positive value is 141.8. okay, so beam 19, correct, beam 19 141.8, 141.80, okay, that is beam 19. So the next that you can have is beam 20. So the highest value is 78 and 192, and the positive value is 98.12. okay, 98.12, 20, okay, yes, 20. So the next that you can have is beam number 21. okay, the highest is this one, and the positive value is 117.0, 117 you can say, okay, so 117, beam 21, okay, yes. Next you can have is beam 22, from here to here, okay, the highest is this one, and the positive value is 150.19, 150.19, okay, 150.19, okay, so 150.19, right. So this is beam 22. So next, after beam 22, the next that you can have here, next one is beam 23. So this much values is there for beam 23, so 489, 454, so therefore this will be the highest value, and here it will be 355.87, okay, 355.87, beam 23, okay, yes, beam 23. I think this is the middle one beam with highest value. So the next that you can have is beam 25. Beam 25, this is the highest value, and 347, 347, 347, beam 25. Next you can have is beam 26, from here to here, okay, the highest will be this value, and the positive will be 238.14, okay, 238.14, and beam 26, okay, beam 26. Next you can have is beam 27. Next you can have is beam 27. So this will be the value, and the maximum bending moment will be 138.9, not 138. You can have your yeah, positive is 138.9, okay, 138.9, beam 27, okay, yeah, so beam 27. So the next that you can have is beam 28, okay, next you have is beam 28. You can see the highest value is this one, and the positive value will be 70.88, Okay, so it is 70.88, beam 28. Okay, yeah, so beam 28. Next you can have is beam 29. Okay, beam 29, right? So the highest value of beam 29 will be this one, and whereas the positive will be 97. Okay, yes, this is beam 29. Next you can have is beam 30. From here to here only two values, so you can have beam 30 and 70. Yeah, this is the one, and the moment will be 0. Next you have is beam 31. The highest is this, beam 31, the highest is this. Okay, beam 31, highest is this, and the highest positive value is this one, beam 31. Okay, yeah. So the next you have is beam 32, that is from here to here. So the highest value is this one, beam 32, and the highest positive value will be 274, beam 32. Okay, right? So the next that you can have is beam 33. So beam 33. Okay, so the highest value is this value, okay, beam 33, and the positive value will be 50. Next you can have is beam 34. Okay, next you can have is beam 34. Okay, out of this beam 34, the highest positive value is this one, and the positive value is 139. Okay, beam 34. So next you have is beam 35. So here to here, the highest is this one, and the positive will be this value. Next you have is beam 36. Okay, from here to here you have beam 36 with the (197) as the positive value. Next you have is beam 37. Out of this, the highest value is this one, and the positive value will be 185. So the next you have is beam 38. Okay, so from here to here, the highest positive value is this one, sorry, negative, positive is 74. So beam 38. So next you have is beam 39. Highest negative values of shear end moment and the highest positive value of the moment. Beam 39. Beam 40. So this value okay, and the positive value is 17. Next you have is beam 41. So this is negative values, this is positive values. So next you have is 42. Okay, so out of this 42, this is the highest value and positive moment is 0. 42, 43 beam number. Out of this many value, this is the highest and the positive will be 355. It is 43. Next you have is 44. Okay, beam number 44. So you have entire this much, of which the highest negative shear and moment is this one, and the positive is 77. Okay, 44. So the next you can have 45. So this is the highest one and corresponding will be 0. 46. This will be 0. 47, this will be 0. Then finally 48. So this will be negative and this will be 0. So the next will be 49, the last beam, and out of this the highest value is this one, that is negative shear and moment. Positive will be this one, right? Yes. So like this, now we have completed the second story beam also. So let us go to the plinth beam in the next video and let us start designing the beam. Okay, thank you learners.